Hey everybody, welcome to your horoscopes for this week. These are the horoscopes for the week ending February 13th, 2016. And since we're talking about February 13th, 2016, there is a beautiful show coming out in Red Bluff at Ophidian Studios on February 13th, starting at 7 p.m. We've got Nervosa, which is a band coming all the way from Sweden to come and rock out Red Bluff. And also supporting that band playing the show that day, we've got Novus Orsa, Decayed Existence, and of course, I can't leave out my AOD boys. Ashes of Death is going to be hitting that stage too. If you're anywhere in the area, you got to come out and see this show. It's going to be amazing. And of course, it's my birthday weekend, so you know you want to come party with the heavy metal psychic. But we are going to get right to the horoscopes, and we're going to start, as we always do, with our Rams. That's right, Aries. It is a beautiful grand sextile week for you guys, as Uranus and Saturn's trine becomes a grand sextile with the Sun, and it's really showing you a lot of support from the people around you, as well as support in your day-to-day schedule to really get things done and shine when it comes to your dreams and goals. And this is a very powerful aspect that is really doing a fantastic job counteracting Uranus's squared position with Pluto, Mercury, and Venus this week. That has been a very difficult aspect, of course, but now that Mercury is in direct position, it's going to be moving out of that aspect by the end of this week, and Venus will be moving out of that aspect by next week. So it will just be Uranus and Pluto again for just a few months, and then I promise a break from it, because it has been a pain in the rear. Now, this squared aspect, of course, is going to make some difficulties when it comes to money, and you're really going to see these difficulties financially when it seems like, in some ways, things that other people want to do are a little bit more important than what you want to do. And of course, that's going to cause some friction. But, like I said, we got that beautiful grand sextile there. Money is not really everything that you need in order to move forward in a goal. Sometimes all you need is the support of people there to reach in and help you, whether it is financially or they're just there to support you, to help you do what needs to be done. Whatever it is, don't let money stop you. That's really the big point in this whole thing right here. You've got the time, you've got the support, you've got the knowledge, and the truth is that when money is kind of tight, it may seem like you don't want to waste it, quote unquote waste it on, doing something that you want to do when there's so many different things that you need to do. The truth is your goals are your responsibility, and they are necessary. If you need to make a small investment, by all means, go right ahead. Don't let the money stop you, basically, is what I'm saying. Now, the moon is going to join this aspect in your sign at the end of this week, really pouring on the emotional reasons as to why you really, really, really need to make sure that you are focused on these goals and keep on going. And don't let the challenges get in the way, because they're always going to be there. This is the point with challenges. They're always going to be there. If you're going to let them stop you, then honey, you ain't going nowhere. So you guys have a great week with that. Taurus, when those old emotions and doubts and fears and angers and all of those old stupid emotions that you've been holding on to inside of you are kind of at risk of billowing out, it's time to let them come out this week. Now, this is not, of course, a process that anybody, regardless of the sign, enjoys doing. In fact, nobody enjoys really doing this, but it is such a necessary thing for everybody to do. And this week for Taurus, it's really, really, really a necessity. As you find yourself stuffing those things back in, what you're actually doing is you're allowing yourself to continue to hold on to fear and anger and regret, and you're denying yourself love. Now, it may not seem like that, but the truth is that externally you could be saying I'm a person of love, but really with these things inside of you, what you're actually saying is, I really, really want love, but I just can't allow myself to have it. It's the difference between needing and pining for love and being an actual being of love. They're completely two different things. Now, you can't just scratch the surface and say that you are these things and everything, because it doesn't, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. And instances like this week, as these things are coming up, is proof of that, because they're still there. And until you allow them to come out, embrace them, deal with them, let them go, let the universe turn them into the loving energy that they should be, they're not going anywhere, unfortunately. There is no magic wand that's going to take care of them, or you just decide you don't want to let them bother you anymore and then you be done with it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. These things, as they're trapped inside of you, they gnaw at your insides, they cause all kinds of health issues, and externally they really show just how much fear and doubt comes out of or out of situations that you're trying to deal with. So for instance, you want this new job, you think it's going to be the greatest job in the world, but you doubt whether or not you can do the job, or you fear that maybe the job doesn't want you. It's things like that. It really takes away from your ability to feel successful. It really takes away from your ability to feel, anything positive about yourself. So this week, as these things kind of sort of come up and starting to threaten to come out, it really is time to sit down and face them. Because the truth is, until you do this, they're going to keep gnawing at you until you do. And you know what? Once they're gone, they're gone. And I tell you what, you are able to release this anger, this hurt, and this pain, and this fear inside of you, and replace it with love. And you're making the steps to becoming a true being of love, the kind that you want to be. So you guys, be brave, because this is not an easy situation to go through, but everybody goes through it, and it is necessary. And you guys have a great week with that. Gemini, how about some luck this week as the part of fortune kicks off in your sign Sunday through Tuesday, making it lucky to be you. And of course, everybody loves it when it's just lucky to be them, right? In true Gemini style, of course, intelligence is one of the biggest things you think about with Geminis. And when it comes to taking care of yourself and your own needs, it's not selfish. It's actually pretty darn brilliant when you think about it. If you're always putting that energy out to everyone and everything else, you're going to burn yourself out. And it's really important to take that time for you. Spoil yourself a little bit, because you're a Gemini, and for crying out loud, you deserve to be spoiled a little bit. And if no one else is there to spoil you, or even if someone else is there to spoil you, it's still okay to spoil yourself for, also in the process. So do something that you love to do. Do something that makes you happy. It doesn't have to be spectacular. You don't have to get up on stage and shout to the world that you're spectacular. You just have to do something that makes you feel good, makes you happy, relaxes you a little bit, and allows you to really readjust your energy so that you're ready to rock and roll for all of those wonderful things that you need to do for yourself and for other people. So you guys, Geminis, have a good time taking care of yourselves and doing something for you, and have a great week with that. Cancer, the part of fortune comes into your sign Tuesday through Thursday, showing you some luck this week, and it really is showing you just how lucky you can be just being yourself and the beautiful Cancer that you really are. When we're talking about looking at yourself and that present reflection that you're looking at right now, there's a lot of changes when you do see those different reflections. Who you were at one time is not, of course, the same person that you are now. And sometimes this can be a good thing, and sometimes people look at that and kind of sort of pine for who they were in the past. But the truth is that this burst of luck with the part of fortune is really coming in to show you that you can be lucky at any time of your life. Look back and focus on the past times where you were lucky, and understand that you can grab onto that luck at any time right now, regardless of the situation that you're in. And if you are looking at past reflections and wishing that you could be more like that, now is the perfect time to make that change. If you, let's just say that in the past, maybe you were a little bit more outgoing, and now you're a little bit more like the Cancer homebody that most Cancers are, but you want to be more outgoing. Well, then get out there and be more outgoing. You can make the change at any time. What you don't want to do is pine for who you were and in such an emotional way that it keeps you from making any changes now. You can be awesome at any time of your life, and if things are not working out for you right now like they did at one time, then it's time for you to get some changes started. You don't have to make all these changes this week, of course, but you can set down the foundation to begin these changes later on this year, or maybe within the next few weeks. So you guys, make those changes if you need to, or just look back on the different aspects of your life and be proud. Be proud of where you've been, where you are right now, because the truth is that no matter what the situation, there are some awesome aspects about you right now that are needed in this time right now. So you guys have a great week with that. Leo, your thoughts become lucky this week as the part of fortune moves into your sign Thursday through the end of the week, and we're talking some big, beautiful, lucky, bright ideas coming to you this week. Now, success is always a two-step process, maybe more than two steps, but you got the two main steps. You've got the idea, and then you've got the actual making that happen, where you really get your hands into it and start making something out of this particular project. Now, when it comes to these ideas, what you absolutely don't want to do is let them stay here, because they're not going to go anywhere. You have some great ideas of things that you want to do. This week, it's all about laying down the foundation for some action for these ideas. Do you want to make a move? It's time to get started on planning some things. Do you want to make a career change? It's time to get started on making a plan. What you don't want to do, and what always screws people up once they get the idea, is going to a negative thought process in your mind of thinking that it's never going to work. As soon as you think that, you are dead in the water and you're not going anywhere. You don't want to do that. This week, these ideas are coming. They're coming to present themselves. And the best thing that you can do for you and these ideas is to begin the process and start laying down a foundation for these ideas, because that's how these ideas are going to turn into realities. And you're not getting these ideas for no reason. It is the universe letting you know this is where you want to go. Well, then this is how we're going to make it happen. So you guys, make the most of those ideas. Really do something with them this week. And have a great week with that. Virgo, Jupiter squared position with Saturn is going to make it seem like your responsibilities outweigh things that you want to do or changes that you want to make, especially when it comes to changes in the home, whether it's changing the home itself or adding something to the home that you maybe want to add onto, or making changes, things like that. Now, the good news is that Jupiter's grand sextile with Mars, Pluto, and Venus this week is a real powerful kick to the keister to really make things happen and give you a good boost of energy during the week in order to make things happen. And the beautiful thing is, it's also giving you a beautiful financial boost, which everybody always loves a good financial boost. When you find yourself talking yourself out of making these changes because they're not necessary, it makes the responsibilities so much heavier, because it seems like the responsibilities always outweigh the things that you want to do. But this week, it does not mean that you can't do some of the things that you want to do also. Take care of your responsibilities. Of course, everybody should do that, and Virgos are really good at that. But then add a couple of things that you want to do, make a couple of those changes. It doesn't have to be catastrophic changes. You can start by doing a few things now and maybe doing a few things next week. Eventually, you're going to get to your goal of completing this change. So this week, excuses are out the window, because you don't want to let those things hold you back. Go ahead and take care of those responsibilities, and take care of some of the things that you want to do also. And you might want to get it done this week, because once Jupiter moves into grand sextile with Saturn and Neptune, things are going to get tricky here in the next couple of weeks. So make the most of this week and have a great week with that. Libra, this week, as you find yourself focused on taking care of your business, especially around taking care of those you love, it's really important to find the joy and the fun in the situation. When you spend all this time putting your time into things that you need to do, and of course the joy is of taking care of the people that you love. It's a big responsibility, and it's a big responsibility that's really important to every Libra I've ever known. But it can also be a big job to do it, and when it becomes a job and it's no fun, it becomes a real chore. So this week it's really important to find the joy, find the fun, find the playtime in whatever it is that you do, even if it's little moments of something cute from the kids, or little moments that are funny in your job, or whatever it is that you're doing. These things are so important to making your life that much easier as you take care of your responsibilities that are very important for you to take care of. But they don't have to be a job, and they don't have to drag you down. So find yourself your joy in what you're doing this week. Regardless of what it is, there's always something that you can find that will bring a smile to your face and make that task that much easier. So this week, find your joy and have a great week with that, Libras. Scorpio, with Mars still in your sign this month, or this week as a matter of fact, his squared position with the sun this week, which is going to end about next week, towards the end of next week, is still bringing you some frustration when it comes to making you feel like no matter how much time you're putting into your goals, you're just not getting any closer to where you want to be. Now, the good news is Mars grand sextile with Jupiter, Venus, and Pluto is showing you that maybe you're looking at the wrong goals right now. Now, when it comes down to major goals, big goals, there's always small steps that you have to take in order to get to the end result. And it really is about the journey and not the destination in this particular case. But it might be telling you that you need to shift your focus to some different goals. Something that you need to take care of right now. And this grand sextile is perfect when it comes to making changes in the home and bringing you some money. It's definitely financially favorable for you this week. And we can all use a little bit of money for sure. With Mars energy being used in your day-to-day activities of really laying down those foundations for those plans and making that money and getting the things together that you need, what you're actually doing is you're helping yourself to take some further steps into your ultimate goals while you're focusing on some small-term goals right now. So this is really what it's about. So this week, don't let Mars energy become a frustration getting in the way of you achieving your ultimate goals. What all of this is saying is that you may just need to focus your energy on something else for a bit and come back to those ultimate goals later on, and you probably have a little bit of a better energy to do it. So you guys have a great week with that. Sagittarius, as Saturn is moving into squared position with Jupiter and Neptune this week, it's really going to bring some frustration when it feels like the changes that you want to make both in your home and your career, major aspects of your life, are just not in the cards right now. No matter what you do, you can't seem to make these changes, or it seems like obstacles are getting in your way over and over again. But at the same time, Saturn's grand sextile with Uranus and the Sun this week is pointing your focus into a different direction. Maybe you're not to be so concerned with these particular aspects of your life right now, and I'm talking about home and career. You may need to focus on something a little bit different. Now, of course, your responsibilities lie in making money in your career and, of course, in your home, but this is not your only responsibility. And this energy may be projecting you in a different direction because you need to get out of this rut of having to focus on these particular aspects of your life that you feel most responsible for. There are lots of different goals, and these may just be personal goals of yours that it's time for you to really pay attention to. So this week, when you feel a lack of support in the big things like your career and your home, shift that focus to something maybe a little bit smaller, and you've got all kinds of the support that you need with Uranus's position in this grand sextile to shine in your goals and dreams, because this is really what it's about. And when it comes down to it, you deserve to be just as amazing as everybody else, you Sagittarians. So you guys have a great week with that. Capricorn, Mercury is spending his last week in your sign this week and also spending his last moments in conjunction with Venus and Pluto. Venus is also going to be on her way out of your sign pretty soon, probably leaving your sign next week as a matter of fact. But she is still in conjunction with Pluto enough to be part of this beautiful grand sextile that's going on between Mars and Jupiter and of course Venus and Pluto. And this is of course a beautiful aspect in terms of making money and making some changes in the home and really giving you a burst of energy during the week to be able to get these things done. Now for you guys, this aspect is all about downsizing. It's all about, you know, getting rid of things that are just no longer serving your needs when it comes to making these changes and making a little bit of money in the process. So we're talking maybe getting rid of some things, having a yard sale, making some money selling some of those things, and you know, those kinds of things. When it comes down to it, there's always different ways to make a little bit of money, and a lot of the times you have some money sitting around in your house that you're not using. We just don't think about that. Now, definitely cleaning house is a great thing for Capricorns, but at the same time, Venus and Pluto are still in that squared position with Uranus, making it feel like you're doing all of this on your own. This may be part of the cleaning house process for you guys. If you feel that you're constantly putting your energy into certain relationships and not seeing that reciprocation, it might just be time for you guys to really evaluate that relationship and figure out if it's really something that is benefiting you. Whether you gotta weigh the pros and cons or whatever it is, it's time to really take a look at these particular relationships in a very honest way and really look at it and determine whether or not this is in your best interest as well as that person's, of course. So this week, it really is all about taking out the trash, so to speak. Whether it's stuff that's in your house or whether it's relationships, or, you know, you don't even have to get rid of the relationship, but you do have to put down some boundaries and make sure that that other person understands that this is what you expect out of them if you're willing to put what you're putting into the relationship. And of course, maybe make a little bit of money in the process. So you guys have a great week with that. Aquarius, happy birthday to all the Aquarians born this week, specifically to some of both some very important Aquarians to me. That would be mine and Drummer Dave's sister Sarah. It's her birthday this week. And also two wonderful ladies that are involved in a nonprofit organization with me. That would be Successful Women of Central Valley. And those two wonderful ladies are Narinder and Jenny. They're awesome ladies. And I hope you, all three of you guys, have a totally kick-ass birthday this week because you're Aquarians, and really you should. Now, for the horoscope this week, we've got all kinds of beautiful things going on, including a new moon in Aquarius coming up this week. And this is a beautiful energy to really manifest some wonderful energy into your personal goals and your career goals, as a matter of fact. With the sun and moon in grand sextile position with Uranus and Saturn this week, we're talking some big things. Lots of support when it comes to your goals, lots of support for the changes that you want to make, and of course, being that Saturn is rooted in there, it's really showing you your responsibility to these dreams, meaning that if you want them, it's your responsibility to go after them. Now, the sun's squared position with Mars is, of course, going to cause some issues when it seems like every time you come up with a plan and you're ready to get something done, there's a wrench thrown in that schedule, which is so annoying. Being an Aquarian myself, I know how Aquarians are. They like to plan it out and they like it to go to plan. And unfortunately, I think this is part of the lesson that Mars is trying to teach us. We can't always have that control over the plan, and so therefore this aspect is teaching us to kind of be a little bit more malleable or a little bit more mutable than fixed in this particular case. Make sure that you let the universe's time really become a part of this plan, because the truth is things actually work a lot better if you let the universe drive the car and not so much yourself all the time. So you guys have some beautiful manifestations this week and have a great week with that. And finally, Pisces. Of course, Neptune square with Saturn is still there. It's still a pain in the rear. It still feels like no matter what you want to do when it comes to making changes, especially career changes, responsibilities are kind of the anchor that makes it difficult for you to make these changes, or at least the changes that you want to make. And when the moon comes into your sign Tuesday through Thursday, it's only going to get worse, I'm afraid, just for a minute, though. As the moon moves into conjunction with Neptune, you're going to really feel this anchor on an emotional level. But as the moon moves a little bit more into your sign by Wednesday or so, she creates this one-day grand sextile position with Mars and Pluto and Mercury and Venus. And we're talking about making money. We're talking about Mars being this really hard energy that's pushing you into doing what you want to do, not just what you have to do. And this energy is it's really important to use it, if you know what I mean. I mean, really use it, because it's a very good energy. Now, here's the thing. Your responsibilities are always going to come up. They're not going anywhere. The truth is that what really wastes time is overthinking and complaining and maybe communicating in a negative way about these responsibilities always coming up, rather than using that time in a constructive manner to go ahead and take care of what it is that you want to do. You have to be mutable in this particular case, and you Pisces are mutable. You can move from one thing to another fairly easily, and it's really important to be open to being mutable at this time. So this week, you may have to work a little bit harder for those career changes that you want to make. That's true. But the challenge is coming to you, because if you really want it, then you really have to work for it. And if you work for it, I guarantee you're not going to just get what you want. You're going to get far beyond what you expected to get. So you guys have a great week with that. Thanks so much for watching the horoscopes this week. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Of course, don't forget to check out the Heavy Metal Psychic on Facebook. And don't forget to go to Grateful Fairy Wings, our private group on Facebook. Got classes that are being announced in astrology, mediumship, and personal development coming up here in the next couple of weeks. And of course, I would love to have you guys as my students in those classes. And they definitely well worth it. So stop on into the Grateful Fairy Wings group and come and see us. Again, I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Have a great week, everyone.